What's going on, guys? You know what time it is. It's time to stir that pot. And guys, today I want to stir the pot on those uncleanable instruments again. I guess, how do I start this? How do I start this without being sarcastic? Well, that's what stir the pot is. It's kind of a little bit sarcastic, but it's supposed to get you thinking, right? These uncleanable instruments, they have to go through a validation, right? And I call them uncleanable because, again, terminology or a saying in the food industry, and it should adopt into any industry. If you can't see it, you can't clean it. But some way, somehow, it was validated to be clean. And if we've paid attention, validation is done on worst case scenario. So I'm going to show you two instruments here, and I'm going to talk through what I believe would be the worst case scenario, right? So stay tuned. All right, guys, so here we have two laparoscopic instruments, almost the same length. One's longer than the other, okay? One's considered a uncleanable or a single unit instrument that can't be taken apart, and the other one can. Now, the IFU to this one states that sterilization cannot be validated if the instrument is not taken apart, right? This one here gives you its sterilization cycle and gives you its cleaning instructions. Now, if validation is worst case scenario to me we would inject some blood in there and we would allow it to dry. Blood dries on the distal tip here, so we would simulate tissue, and dirty surgeon hands grab the grasper, right? Or bloody surgeon hand, because he might, be dissecting tissue with his fingers, which doctors do, right? And this is a cauterizing instrument, right? So we're going to make it even worse and have some cauterized tissue in there. And if there's any blood in there, it should have been cauterized as well, right? So somehow, worst case scenario, they used half dose strength detergent, right? So whatever detergent that they have available. If the IFU says they use an enzymatic detergent, they use an enzymatic detergent, but they use it at a strength that's half of the lowest recommended dose. So if it's 1/4 ounce per gallon, they use 1/8 of an ounce per gallon, right? And no pre-treatment. So somehow they got this instrument clean enough to say that, yeah, it's cleanable. But for some reason, this same instrument with almost the same design except for the cauterization can't pass that validation. As a matter of fact, if you even cleaned this instrument in your facility and someone didn't take it apart and then you do take it apart, oh, you find all kinds of goodies in there, right? Am I telling a lie or am I telling the truth? So how is it that this company got someone to validate? And I'm almost wondering, was it the same validation company? Could it be the same validation company that validated this instrument and said, yes, we can clean it with all the flushing and soaking? But yet this one here, we can't. Or did they even try cleaning it assembled? Did they automatically see and say, oh, you know something? This can be disassembled. So we're going to disassemble it, but we're going to do worst case scenario here. Fill this up with blood, allow it to dry, blood on the shaft, blood on the jaw, allow it to dry, blood on the handles, but we clean everything individually. But they've never tried to clean it or validate it assembled because the manufacturer's IFU stated that it should be disassembled. So here's where the confusion in our industry comes in at. How do you have two almost similar instruments? One you don't have to take apart, but you can clean it. But this one here, you have to disassemble and clean it and sterilize it disassembled. We can sterilize this one assembled. You know how many facilities I've been to where the OR pushes back that this is sent up disassembled and they have to assemble it at the point of use? And sterile processing conforms to the OR and says, okay, we'll assemble it and sterilize it as such. Well, my current facility don't play that, but imagine the confusion. Well, why can we do this one and we can't do this one? And here's another point, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys. So the last point I wanted to make when we're talking about these single unit instruments and these take-apart instruments. Worst case scenario validation is done without pre-treatment. Who validates pre-treatment? Where does that step come in the IFU? Like, if the validation company is validating worst case scenario, who's validating the point of use cleaning? Is that a separate validation? And how does that tie in with the validation of cleaning if cleaning is done in worst case scenario? Are they validating two different processes, or are they just validating the one? Every time I hear about validation of a cleaning process, it's always worst case scenario. The pre-treatment or the pre-cleaning is never included in that validation. So where did that come from? Or is it just something that we're suggesting that we should be doing that's off label but on the label? I don't know, guys. What do you think? Hit me up on the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, as always, stay true to yourselves. Keep it 100. Continue educating yourselves. And until next time, peace.